Hey, you guys, did you hear what Jennifer's husband said last week? You're not going to like it. Beth told me that her son said he overheard two people at the grocery store talking about it. One of them was saying that Jennifer's brother is in her Saturday morning prayer group. Sounds like Jennifer told her brother that her husband said,
"You should all stop gossiping so much."
That's exactly what I want to talk about in this, the third episode of The Sad Catholic Show. Gossip and other injustices in speech. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Sad. If you know, you know. If you don't know, you can know by listening to episode 1. Thank you for taking a few minutes out of your day to listen to my thoughts on this topic. I want to start this episode like I always do, by thanking Smanderson Ranch for supporting this endeavor and letting me make this show in Studio E here at Smanderson Ranch in Blanchard, Idaho. Actually, I really need to apologize to Smanderson Ranch, and here's why. I was excited to see all of the fan mail already coming in through my email at thesadcatholic@gmail.com, and then I opened it. Some of you are great and supportive. Thank you. The rest of you couldn't believe how badly I continually butcher my sponsor's website. I feel so bad. Thank you for the feedback, both positive and negative. It helps me grow. I love you all, and I will try harder. So here we go. Please show Smanderson Ranch some love by visiting their website at www.smandersonranch.com. That's www.smandersonranch.com. There you can buy all of the Catholic custom culture shirts and accessories that you never knew you needed until now. My new shirt, The Sad Catholic Show, is also now available at www.smandersonranch.com. Again, that's www.smandersonranch.com. Their goal and my goal is to share our Catholic Christian faith with the world around us. You guys, we can literally wear our faith on our sleeve with these incredible designs. They are quite possibly the greatest items in the world. Now let's get on with the gossip. Is gossiping a sin? Sometimes you can't help but to spill the tea about a certain someone to your friends and family. But did it ever cross your mind that gossiping may be a sin? Even a mortal sin? One of the more underrated categories of sin are the sins of speech. There are many ways we sin, but perhaps the most common way is by speech. Too easily, almost without thought, we engage in gossip, idle chatter, lies, exaggerations, harsh attacks, uncharitable observations, and remarks. With our tongue, or with our words online, we can spread hatred, incite fear and maliciousness, spread misinformation, cause temptation, discourage, teach error, and ruin reputations. We can cause great harm with this gift of communication capable of so much good. What is gossiping? Gossiping is the act of engaging in idle talk or spreading rumors about others. It is something very common, and you may be able to fall into it on a daily basis. In defining gossip in a general way, the term can apply to talk of a personal or trivial nature. But the sin of gossip is more specifically considered to be idle talk or rumor, especially about the personal or private affairs of others. It usually involves uncharitable or inappropriate conversation about people not present, and has a reputation for the introduction of errors and variations into the information transmitted because the person being talked about isn't present to set the story straight. The Catholic Church places great importance on the dignity and worth of every human person. Each individual is seen as a creation of God, deserving of respect and love. Each person has the right to their own reputation. If they want to mess it up, that's on them. But you do not have the right to mess it up for them. Gossiping undermines this fundamental principle of human dignity. It can harm individuals emotionally, damage their reputations, and strain relationships within communities. Just Thomas Aquinas includes gossip in his treatise on justice in the Summa. By it, we unjustly harm the reputation of others through either lies or truths shared inappropriately. As he most often does, St. Thomas distinguishes a number of different forms of gossip or injustice in speech. 1. Rivaling, dishonoring a person, usually to their face, and often in the hearing of others. It is done openly, audibly, and is usually rooted in anger and personal disrespect. It may include name-calling, caricature, profanity, and even foul language. For the most part, we do not consider reviling to be a form of gossip per se, since gossip is usually conducted apart from the offended person and reviling to their face. But reviling is a sin of speech that ought to be mentioned here, since it is annexed to the general dishonor and harming of the reputation of others that is at the heart of gossip. Reviling, as such, is intended to cause personal embarrassment or dishonor, damaging the reputation of that person to people around them too. Backbiting. Generally, we call this today talking behind someone's back. Backbiting is the secret and quiet injuring of a person's good name to others. Here, the key point is that the injured person is not present either to defend or clarify what is said. There are two forms of backbiting that Stigmas distinguishes. A. Calumny, which is telling lies about someone behind their back. The written form of this is called slander. B. Detraction, which is passing on harmful truths about others. What is said is true, but is not necessary information to be shared, and the information has the effect of diminishing a person's reputation or harming their good name before others. For example, it may be true that Jackie has a drinking problem, but it is not necessary information to share. Worth noting here is that there may be times when it is important to share certain truths about others because it is necessary information, but such information should be shared only by those who need to know it for a just cause. Further, the information must be certainly true and not merely hearsay. Finally, only the necessary information should be shared, avoiding a full rendering of everything you ever wanted to know about Jackie. 3. Tale-bearing, also called tail whispering. This may sound like backbiting, but Stant Thomas makes a distinction here. Whereas a backbiter seeks to harm the reputation of another absent person, the talebearer seeks to stir up trouble and arouse people to action against a person. Perhaps he seeks to have others end professional, business, or personal relationships with the one being gossiped about. Perhaps his goal is to incite angry responses toward him or even violence. Perhaps, too, some legal action is the desired outcome. But the talebearer seeks to incite some action against the one he gossips about. Hence, it goes further than the harming of reputation to include the harming of relationships, finances, legal standing, and so forth. 4. Derision. This is making fun of a person, perhaps of their mannerisms, perhaps of a physical trait or personal quality. While some of this can be lighthearted, it often strays into hurtful and humiliating actions or words that diminish someone else's standing or honor within the community. 5. Cursing. This is a spoken wish or command that another person be afflicted with some evil or harm. This may or may not be spoken to their face. Here, too, we see a dishonoring of a person in the presence of others. The usual goal is to incite from others anger and dishonor towards the injured person. The cursing of a person is considered in the realm of gossip, whereas the cursing of irrational things is considered merely vain or futile speech, though not wholly sin-free. What does the Catholic Church say about gossiping? The Catechism of the Catholic Church teaches in paragraph 2479 that detraction and calumny destroy the reputation and honor of one's neighbor. The gravity of gossiping. Gossiping is closely tied to the commandment to love one's neighbor as oneself. Jesus instructed his followers to treat others with kindness and respect, emphasizing the importance of avoiding harmful words. In Matthew chapter 7, verse 12, Jesus taught the golden rule. So whatever you wish that others would do to you, do also to them. Gossiping goes against this principle of treating others as we would like to be treated. The Catechism of the Catholic Church includes gossip under its treatment of the 8th commandment, you shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. It is important to note that the gravity of gossiping as a sin can depend on various factors, such as the intention behind the words, the harm caused, and the knowledge of the information shared. Deliberate and malicious gossip can be more sinful than casual or unintentional remarks. Unless the matter under discussion is a common news item, When someone's gossip negatively alters the opinion another has regarding a third person, they have committed a grave action. If it is done with full knowledge and deliberate consent, the grave action then becomes a mortal sin. Gossip is a far more serious matter than most of us like to consider. The church invites individuals to examine their intentions and to seek forgiveness and reconciliation when they have engaged in gossip. How to stop gossiping? The church recognizes that human beings are not perfect and may be tempted to engage in gossip. However, the church calls on individuals to exercise self-control and discipline in their speech. It encourages believers to reflect on the potential consequences of their words and to strive for virtuous communication. Furthermore, the Catholic Church encourages believers to cultivate virtues such as charity, humility, and mercy. Gossiping often stems from a lack of charity, as it involves speaking negatively about others and disregarding their feelings. It also reveals a lack of humility, as it elevates oneself by diminishing the reputation of others. The book of James, chapter 3, tells us about our tongue and its capacity for both good and bad. Verses 6 through 10 tell us, "The tongue is also a fire. It exists among our members as a world of malice, defiling the whole body and setting the entire course of our lives on fire, itself set on fire by Gehenna. For every kind of beast and bird, of reptile and sea creature can be tamed and has been tamed by the human species, but no human being can tame the tongue. It is a restless evil, full of deadly poison. With it we bless the Lord and Father, and with it we curse human beings who are made in the likeness of God. From the same mouth come blessing and cursing. This need not be so, my brothers." In conclusion today, I want to say that we easily and carelessly risk ruining the reputation and standing of others by our gossip. Idle chatter about others can bring great harm and draw many others into sin. This is a big one that I deal with too. I can try to be better. You can try to be better. Scripture says, "Set a guard over my mouth, O Lord. Keep watch over the door of my lips." Psalm chapter 141, verse 3. This is my prayer about sins of speech. Help, Lord. Keep your hand over my mouth. Put your word in my heart so that when I do speak, it's what you would have me say. Amen. I know I went long on this one, but it's a big subject that I think is worth at least 15 minutes of our time. But before signing off, I have to try this just one more time. www.smandersonranch.com for all of the cool Catholic Christian custom culture stuff that you never knew you needed until now. Phew. Remember, be kind to others and try to be happy. I'm the only one around here allowed to be the sad Catholic.
And you should all stop gossiping so much.
Ha ha ha. Until next time.